Hey everybody, it's Angela, and I just wanted to do a quick junk journal share. And this is one I have made out of a bunch of ephemera that I got from my mother-in-law's house. My mother-in-law passed away this last summer, and they've been cleaning out the house. And I asked them if there was any things they were going to throw away, paperwork and stuff like that, if I could look through it first. And so they let me do that, and I used it to make this junk journal. And I also got a bunch of these comb binding combs at the Goodwill. I got a huge pack of like 50 of these inch size and 50 of the 5/8 inch for like $3.99 per box. So I got a whole bunch of these, and then I got a whole bunch of these clear acetate pieces, a couple packs of these for 99 cents a pack. So I have enough stuff I can make one of these journals for each of the kids or grandkids or whoever wants one. And then I'm just going to fill it with pictures and photographs of my mother-in-law and the grandkids and stuff like that. So I'm just going to flip through this. I used one of the clear plastic covers, and it measures about 8 by 11 1/4 inches. And I put a Bandon postcard. She had a bunch of these postcards because she had a vacation home in Bandon for many, many years. So I put one of those in there. And then there were a bunch of calendars with neat old illustrations. This one's from 1956. And it's actually a Dell's Building Supply calendar, which was a company that my father-in-law owned back in the 50s. So that kind of has meaning to the family. And then it has just wording on the back that I can, you know, put pictures and stuff on there. And then I had some other calendars that had my mother-in-law's handwriting all over them, appointments, things she was doing during that time, which I thought was neat, you know, people's birthdays and stuff like that. So I'll cover up portions of it with photos and leave other portions exposed. You know, I'll kind of look and see what, you know, seems the most important to leave. And I can also, it had beautiful Oregon illustrations on the other side, so that was good. And they were nice heavy duty, so it gives some strength and durability to this journal instead of it just being, you know, really flimsy paper. This is an old, this was something in her stuff when people used to fax little jokes and stuff. This was a Norwegian motorcycle, a Kawasaki, and they're Norwegian, so I just kind of threw that in there. And then more illustrations from the calendar, another one of those calendar pages that she wrote on with an illustration. So that's what a lot of the pages are, just those two calendars. I also threw in copies of newspaper clippings that she had saved of the kids and grandkids, and just kind of sprinkled those throughout. There were a bunch of Xerox copies when she was planning on building a house back, I think, in the 80s or so. And so I just went ahead and threw these in because this would be the house plans of what the kids and the grandkids remember Grandma living at. She was a Silverton, Oregon alumni, so she had a lot of these little alumni newsletters. So I threw one of those in there. It's another calendar page. She had a church bulletin that happened to have a picture on the front of a parade. And my father-in-law is in the picture, and she had saved that. There were a couple copies of this, so I can make a few journals with this included in it. More copies of newspaper clippings that she had, a blank note card that showed the Bandon Lighthouse, because like I said, she had a house in Bandon, and just another, I thought this picture of the turkeys might be fun because I think there are snapshots of turkeys in her yard, because there's turkeys all over in that part of the world. This was like from a 1976 calendar. More of this vintage calendar, another newspaper clipping of a cousin that got saved, It's another piece of that 1976 calendar that had a white-tailed deer on it. The deer would also go in her backyard. Sometimes there would be a buck sitting back there, so I thought I might have snapshots of that somewhere. This is just a little pamphlet she had of culling your poultry flock from 1958, because she had a chicken house and stuff for a lot of years. And more of that calendar, just some index cards she had next to her phone with families' phone numbers on it that were actually still valid phone numbers, so I covered them up here. But just with her big handwriting as she got older, and she would write really big so she could see. And just more things where I can put photos over some of these pictures and on the backs of these sheets. Another newspaper clipping of my sister-in-law's wedding. More things with just her handwriting. A letter from her cousin. More newspaper clippings, and then on the end I put another calendar page because it's so nice and sturdy, and then another one of those clear acetate pieces. So that's kind of the bones of this album, and then I'll fill it with more ephemera and photos as I go through and scan. I've got several boxes of photos that I'm going to scan in what's applicable to my husband's kids and family, and then I'm going to also scan in a bunch of the historical family photos, and I'll share all those and then divvy up the other ones to go to other family members, and they can scan their portions and so on, to kind of split up the work of scanning. But yeah, so I'll fill this with photos and pictures, and maybe there's still more to clean out. And so it makes for a very inexpensive journal, because this was all paperwork they were going to throw away anyway, and the comb binding and the acetate pieces I got at Goodwill. So it's really inexpensive and something I can make for, you know, anyone in the family who really wants one. So anyhow, just wanted to share that. If you have any questions or anything, just leave a comment below, and thanks so much for watching. Bye.